Sorry about that, guys. My battery died. So we're continuing off the ninth house. So you manifest a lot of experiences where you're very passionate and can be dogmatic, where you're willing to go to war for your philosophy. You're willing to go to war for your morals. You're willing to go to war for the way you perceive life. You know what I mean? Whether it's skewed or correct. So you have to be careful of that. That you're not always passionate about teaching and preaching all the time. You know how to soak other people's perspective and then see if you can find a well-rounded answer for everybody that everyone else can relate to. And you can still have your own personal belief, or you can have a belief where it's inclusive of all other people's perspective. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you can really have a healthy Mars in the ninth house energy. And you might manifest a lot of. So you're the type of person that has to travel abroad. Like, let's say if you're in the military, you have to travel abroad a lot of times for your service. You know what I mean? So you'll manifest a lot of Mars in the ninth house. Or you manifest a lot of incidents when you're traveling. If you're a tourist and things like that. Mars in the tenth house. You're very passionate about your status. You're very passionate about the way people perceive you. You're very passionate about your name and your title and your achievements. You know what I'm saying? Your stability, your status. You're very passionate about that, and you're willing to go to war for that. Um, you know, you like to be. You could be well known for someone that is aggressive because that's Mars in the tenth house. You can be well known for that. That could be your status. It could be a status of a well professional boxer or a well professional UFC fighter. You know what I'm saying? Or well martial artist. Um, you're also just known for. You could also be known as like you know your status could be like I said, like it could be a sex worker, or you could be um someone in those type of similar industry. That could be your status. Um, you could also just be very cutthroat when it comes to working your way up the ladder. It's Mars in the tenth house because Capricorn tenth house ladder. Mars passion aggression, and you're willing to do anything to reach that status and reach that pinnacle. Um, what else? So yeah, that's one thing about you. It's like you're also very you could be very closed off. You know what I mean? There's no really emotions there. Having Mars in the tenth house, it's just straight business. You know what I mean? And that's you're just tunnel vision on your business. You know what I mean? And there's no emotion involved. There's no connection involved. It's just this is what I want to be known as. This is our status. Or this is my status, and this is what I fight for every day. You know what I mean? So they might also be known as a freedom fighter or known as someone that is a fighter for like a country or something like that. Like those type of war medal, like the people that get um awards and medals from like uh the government for fighting in different campaigns. You know what I mean? So those are the type of energy that they might be. It's like a status. They're well known for that. Like just like people here, like in Australia, like the Anzac. That would be like Mars in the tenth house energy, Mars in the Capricorn energy, where it's like your status. You're well known for that Martian energy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's Mars in the tenth house. They're very successful people though, because they're very passionate about their status. So they can really manifest a lot. You know what I mean? Mars is exalted in the tenth house. Sorry. Yeah, Mars does well in the tenth house. You know what I mean? So Mars being yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, Mars is exalted in the tenth house. That's right. So your passion and then your stability or your status or what you want to achieve coming together, you can be very, very, very powerful person. You know what I'm saying? You can be very, very powerful person if you channel into the right areas. Mars in the 11th house. 11th house has to do with Saturn, but co-ruled by Uranus. So you're very passionate about your way of thinking because it's fixed air. You're very passionate about your way of perception. Um, and you're very passionate about finding new innovative ways to do things and finding new innovative ways to be amongst other people. So you'll be very good at technology. You'll be someone that gets paid a lot of money to create new inventions and things like that. And that's what you're passionate about. You're very, because Uranus has to do with future energy, futuristic. So you having Mars in the 11th house, that has to do with you being very passionate about finding new ways to be innovative, you know? And you might even be the type of person that creates technology for the defense force, like things like that, like people that come up with innovative ideas in terms of like tanks and different guns and machine guns and things like that. That's like Mars in the 11th house. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could also manifest that like uh, aggressive scenarios and experiences when you're amongst, you know, the masses. You know what I mean? You're amongst other people, you know, and you can be very passionate and dogmatic in the way you think, you know, in the way you perceive things. And yeah, so what else? So yeah, when you do your aggressive experiences, you like to be amongst other people. Sometimes you might like to be with yourself because Aquarius is fixed air, but you know how to rally other people. You know what I mean? You know how to rally other people to do aggressive stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you know the certain people how to come across other people to click up to do things. You know what I mean? Or they can do that to you, where other people click up to do Martian like things to you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be aware of that. And then last but not least, Mars in the 12th house. So Mars in the 12th house has to do with, you know, Pisces, co-ruled by Neptune, ruled by Jupiter. So you're very passionate about your creativity, your imagination. You like to do a lot of your passion behind closed doors or alone by yourself, um, or with a select few. You like to. You're very your passion your passion is something that you don't really show people though. You know what I mean? So you don't really show people your passion. It's something that is more within. Something that is more in your imagination. It's more in your mind. You might not physically show it. You might just mentally think it and mentally imagine it. So you're the type of person that you might not physically be aggressive to somebody, but you might imagine something aggressively happening to them. You know what I mean? Because that's like Mars in the 12th house. It has to do with imagination. So you might wish it upon them, something like that. Um, Mars in the 12th house is also a lot of experiences that you do have in terms of violent experiences or something like that. Violence experiences or you being vulnerable was behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't something that a lot of people know about. You know, so it's, you know, you could also manifest a lot of violent dreams. You know what I mean? You're very, each time, like Mars is in 12th house, that has to do with dreams, Neptune. So you have a lot of dreams that are very violent and aggressive. Um, you also your creativity, the way you are creative, can be very aggressive, can be very out there. Like let's say if you do artwork or like your, you know, museum and stuff, like you would like to do a lot of painting and drawings of like, you know, military battles and things like that, of wounded soldiers and things like that. You know, wounded soldiers. You know, you might do a photo collage or a documentary on, you know, wounded soldiers. You might do a documentary on what's it called, on yeah, on people that, you know, had, you know, were affected by the wars, because 12 house has to also do with isolation. So you might be very passionate about helping people psychologically and spiritually, people who are dealing with a lot of mental anguish. You know what I'm saying? You might want to learn how to do like some um, Reiki healing or something like spiritual, Neptunian like, you know, spiritual that helps heal them, because Virgo is more of the physical healing of the body, and Pisces is more of the healing of the mind and healing of the soul. So you're very passionate about that. You're very passionate about being a psychologist, helping people to, or very passionate about being a therapist, helping people to relieve their emotions in a more healthy way. You know, um, yeah, you could be very passionate about just your artwork, your creativity. If you're a movie director, or you're creating animation and things like that, you're very passionate about that. You know, you could boss a lot of people around if you're like a movie director, being the 12th house and things like that. But it just comes from passion. It comes from passion of your creativity. You know what I mean? It comes from that. But it's like, yeah, you deal with a lot of aggressive things, you know, or very plutonic things also, um, in isolation. So a lot of people don't know about it. You know what I mean? It's just something that happened in privacy. So you could deal with a lot of mental anguish and emotional anguish by yourself, and a lot of people might not know it. It might be something you're dealing with subconsciously until you learn how to heal yourself. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, you're very passionate about servicing people in isolation, whether it's in the prison, whether it's in mental institution, and things like that. And you could be someone that is locked away in these things too. Also, you could be locked away in prison or locked away in a mental institution, um, based on aggression. So you have to be careful of that and learn how to use your Martian and passion and aggression for creativity instead of things that will put you isolated and locked away. So yeah, guys, that is the Mars series for today's video. Hope you guys get something new. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you soon.